Hello, everyone, and welcome to Booming Encore's Tweet Talk. This is where we talk about what's been trending on Twitter this past week and share our opinions and perspectives. My name is Susan Williams, and I'm the founder of Booming Encore, and I'm delighted to be joined again with Mike Drak. Mike is the author of Victory Lap Retirement. Hi, Mike. How are things?
Not bad, Susan. How about you?
Things are going very well, all things considered.
Liar.
Well, the decent weather's starting to arrive, so that's definitely something that lifts up your spirits for sure.
True.
Okay, Mike, I thought we could start off with an interesting article that was published in Forbes magazine. It was about baby boomers and how a number of them are actually starting up businesses. And the beauty of this is they're actually leveraging their past experiences and combining that now with actually learning the intricacies of social media, and they're leveraging that to help produce some really interesting companies and businesses. What do you think about this?
I think it's a wonderful opportunity. If one benefit came out of this pandemic, it is people became aware they can create their own home-based businesses because they're working at home. So they use the computer and they see how easy it is to work on it. And then, learning new technologies like Zoom meetings and things like that. So they're getting comfortable, they're getting confident, and they're getting creative. And they're coming up with new ideas for, hey, I could do that. Like, look at companies that are using a sewing machine to, make hospital masks or its equivalent, and people making face shields at home, and they're selling them on the internet, or they're giving them away,
Yeah.
cases too. So it's unbelievable what people can do and how creative they are. Now they're getting the taste for it because they have the time.
Yeah, I thought that was some excellent points that you made as well. What I really appreciated is the fact that there's this view that as you get older you don't want to learn anymore, and I think that's so untrue, really, because it just shows that we are able to continue learning, and that's part of the beauty of life and the continuum of growth. And the fact that now we're taking all that experience that we've accumulated over the years and adding in new dimensions, that just makes it that much more powerful and demonstrates the strength of experience and expertise, and then adding in new skills and how strong it can really be. Like, I know sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think, we've been so busy working at our jobs, we've forgotten how capable we really are to do new things, right?
I can speak personally. For instance, like the whole social media thing, I kind of went into it because I was trying to help some of my clients when I was doing consulting work. And then sure enough, it actually turned into a business and all on its own as being Booming Encore. And so now I'm, managing and developing a website, managing in social media, and all the things that go with it. So, I think it just shows there's so many possibilities, and just to keep your mind open and keep learning and see where it takes you. Okay, Mike, and then the second topic I thought we could talk about is I had actually interviewed Dr. Stephen Gallant a while back on living in the right place, or aging in the right place. And so I thought, we could maybe talk a little bit about, have you given some thought to where you plan on aging and living?
I have, and as a matter of fact, I wrote a blog article on one concept I was looking at, because at some point we probably will move into a condo. So I said, well, why can't I do a sale leaseback on my home? I could sell it now to an investor with the option of staying in it for up to 10 years, which would make me happy. And I got the best of both worlds. And then down the road, either I could buy a condo or just rent a place. But it would give me maximum flexibility. Plus, it would give me their money up front, which I would like. And, you have to be creative. There's all kinds of different combinations that you could utilize to make it work. But you don't want to rush, number one. You want to take your time and think it through, because the worst thing you can do is, so many people say, hey, I'm going to sell my house in town and I'm going to downsize and move to the country. And you get there and you go, geez, I don't like it here. You lose all your friends and things like that, right? So you end up coming back and it costs you a lot of money. So you got to think it through, but there's so many different
I think that was the thing that was also trying to point out, is that the beauty of living today is that there are so many different options.
Sure.
the point that I think he was also trying to make is that you have to actually, and you also, emphasize this, you really have to think about it before you get to that situation where you're having to
That's
do
right.
something in a rush. And I think when
Oh yeah, you don't want to rush. Yeah.
when you're, either your health issue or financial issue or something along those lines. So again, it comes back to planning and thinking it out and trying before you actually commit yourself to something long term to make sure that it's actually going to be something that, one, you're going to enjoy, and two, is going to suit your lifestyle longer term. So I guess it's just a topic that we probably should move closer in rather than waiting until it becomes, something urgent that you have to actually deal with.
Yeah, but you have to do your homework. You have to talk to other people that have gone through it. Maybe people that have done what you're attempting to do, you're considering, and ask how it went, and find out the pluses and the minuses of it. But yeah, there's all kinds of opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big move, and you got to take your time, make sure you do it right.
Absolutely. And finally, Mike, last week was one of the days was World Book Day. So I thought we could talk about what's your favorite book and why.
I have two books. Two books that really impacted my retirement. The first book is Ernie Zielinski, How to Retire Happy, Wild, and Free. It's the one that gave me the courage to leave my 36-year banking job. So it convinced me it was the good move. And when I was retired and struggling because I suffered from retirement shock, I read a book by Seth Godin. And it really impacted me. Again, it was entitled What to Do When It's Your Turn. And that title haunted me for so long. And, I thought about it a lot. And I said, you know what? When you retire, you get your freedom back. And it's your turn again to do whatever you want to do with the rest of your life. And that really opened my eyes to it. And I said, wow, that's kind of interesting. Well, what do I really want to do? And I had no clue. Mm-hmm. So I sat there and I thought about it. And I got a creative. I came up with some different combinations. I opened my own home-based business is one of the pieces. And it really kind of got exciting. But you never think about these things, right? What does it mean? And these books open my eyes to possibilities. So, I still have them on the shelf behind me, and I still look at them, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. So I want to hear yours.
Mine, one is probably one of the more simpler books, but I thought it was so filled with great advice. And that was Tuesdays with Morrie.
I did. Boy, yes, a long time
ago. It was by Mitch Albom.
Yes.
I'm probably saying his last name correctly, but it was basically some general advice for living your life. And he also actually had a number of wisdom or things that he would share about aging and how, to really live your life to the fullest. And so it was just chock full of great advice, I thought. And it was just, it's so practical and so meaningful all at the same time. And it was an easy read. And I read it while I was on a cruise, actually, with my daughter. And it just really stuck with me and sort of kind of carried me through the last, I read it about 7 years ago now, and I still occasionally will refer back to it.
No, I remember that book because, it's kind of interesting because you see an older person near the end looking back and they're saying, okay, these are the life lessons I learned. And maybe here's some of the smart things I did, and here's some of the mistakes I made, so you can learn from it. And I know I love books like that because they're eye openers. They make you think, and you might adjust the way you're looking at things and how.
And I also think as you get towards the latter part of your life, your thoughts start to distill a bit. You know what I mean? Like it becomes much clearer as to the things that really become important.
Well, because you have time to actually think, right?
Yeah.
You're not running around, being busy with all these things coming at you, and you can actually sit down and do some deep reflection and start thinking about things. Say, you know what? Maybe I don't want to live life that way. I want to try this, right? And you're getting input from different sources, the things to try, and that's what makes life interesting.
It sure does. The other book that really stuck with me was called From Good to Great by Jim Collins. It was the first business book I ever actually read, and it did a whole lot of research on companies that actually managed to sustain themselves over a very long period of time, and what made them last longer than other companies that would come and go. And it was something that really had an impact on my own career, and it still holds true today. And I think the book's something like 25 years old, and it's still chock full of really good business advice on both
Sure.
leadership and how to stay innovative, and the ability to change and move and keep up with what's going on around you. So that was, from a business perspective, that was one that was really influential for me.
No, I read that, and I can tell we both read a lot of business books. Obviously, we're both avid readers. But you get a lot of wisdom from books, right?
You do. You do, and I think it's a great way to keep your mind fresh, keep your eyes open, so to speak, and see what's going on around you. And a book's a great way to sort of escape some of the things that you might be dealing with today, to think about something else as well.
Well, yeah. Plus, if you start doubting yourself or you start getting down a little bit, you can pick up that book and have a look at it again, and it motivates you again, and gets you excited. So they're great books.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones.
There you go. So that's our advice for the day. Pick up a book.
I totally agree.
Okay. Well, Mike, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Susan. Talk to you soon.
Okay. And everybody out there, hope you found this interesting and helps you live your best booming Encore. Bye for now, everyone.